Communication is a critical component of life, unless, of course, you're some weird isolationist living in a cabin in the woods without internet connection, and in that case, you're not watching this video. And the better you are at communicating, the better and more successful you're going to be in life. You'll have better relationships, better career opportunities, which means a lot of times you're going to make more money. If you develop the communication skill set and tool set you need, it's aces. All right? You need this. And so today, in an attempt to help you improve that skill set, we're talking about how to be a better speaker. So when you do a Google search for speaking tips or how to be a better speaker, all you get are presentation tips, right? And I feel personally that the communication that you do in between, like with your friends, family members, people, one-on-one, right? This interaction that we're doing, this is much more important and much more valuable of a skill set. And so today, let's do that. Tip number one is pronunciate. All right, pronunciation is essentially all those letters together, right? They form a word. And pronunciation is saying that word properly. Sounds simple, right? But let me tell you something. Being a good speaker does, first and foremost, require you to pronounce the words properly. Tip number two is equally important, and that is enunciation, which means that you're speaking clearly so people can understand. Like if you're mumbling, you might be actually pronouncing the words properly, but if you're not enunciating, nobody can understand what you're saying. Tip number one, pronunciation. Tip number two, enunciation. Tip number three is projection. Speaking loud enough so people can actually hear you. All right, pronunciation, I got that. Enunciation, I learned that also. But projection, this is something that took years of making YouTube videos to master. Now I project like a freaking freight train. Voice projection is a strength that people have, and it's speaking loud and clear. When you project, you command respect and attention. Let me demonstrate. Gentlemen, great to see you. You doing okay? Good. It's nice to see you. Seriously, it's great to see you. Pronunciation? Check. Enunciation? Check. Projection? No check. Gentlemen, how you doing? It's great to see you. As usual. Oh, it is fancy. Now I'm projecting. All right, but in order to use projection effectively, you need to make sure that you pay attention to tip number four, which is your volume. Have you ever been somewhere and all of a sudden you hear somebody like they're like, damn, they are a super loud talker, right? This is what I'm talking about. They have no idea that they're speaking like crazy loud, but in order to be a good speaker, you need to make sure that that is in check. Your volume needs to match the situation and the conversation you're in. Does this mean that sometimes you don't get all fired up and loud and that lets somebody know that you're passionate? And sometimes you're a little more quiet because it's time to be seductive. Pay attention to volume, but also number five, which is your tone. Tone is the way that you sound. Modulation, intonation of the voice. This is what actually expresses feelings. Check it out. I love you. What do you think? Did you believe me? Probably not. I love you. Did you feel that? Yeah, like ground shaking. There is a difference. Tone is critical to vocal emoting. You want to be a good speaker? You're not a good speaker. You want to be a great speaker? Get rid of the filler words. We are all guilty of throwing in words when we don't need them. But if you practice, if you're conscious, if you're aware of the filler words, that you do them, you slow down. You think a little bit more precisely and carefully before you actually speak, you're going to be well on your way to removing those filler words. You know what I'm saying? And last, but certainly not least, tip number 7. You want to be a rock star amongst your friends, your peers, people in general when it comes to speaking? Well, guess what? It takes tip number 7, which is, you guessed it, confidence. When you speak with confidence, you're confident basically with who you are, with where you are, it emanates out your mouth. It just kind of happens. It's a byproduct of feeling good. And it does take a little bit of time to develop in most cases. But here's the deal. Speaking is only a small part of the communication process. I did videos surprise, surprise, on the other important factors of interpersonal communication, which are eye contact as well as body language. And of course, those videos are listed and linked in the description. Being a good speaker does require practice. It requires you getting out there and actually talking to people. You practice and you implement these 7 tips. Gentlemen, you are going to be on your way to being an amazing speaker. And I'm not talking like giving a presentation. I'm talking communication one-on-one.